Hello everyone, it's Crystal. Today we're going to look at the Korean word 회피하다. Although you have probably learned that this word translates to avoid, there are many other words and expressions that may be a better choice depending on the situation. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. First, let's take a look at dodge. When you dodge, you move quickly to avoid something or someone, or when you avoid something unpleasant. This is often when you physically move to avoid something. You can think of the action you make when you play dodgeball, when you quickly move to the side to avoid the ball coming at you. He was able to dodge the first punch, but not the second. The woman dodged the toy airplane her child threw at her. Although we usually use dodge in physical situations, we can also use it when we are trying to avoid unpleasant situations or things, such as dodging questions, issues, and so on. Politicians often dodge difficult or controversial questions from the press. Another time that we often use dodge is with the idiom to dodge a bullet. Now, we aren't talking about a real bullet. Instead, this is when we barely avoid being hit or affected by something bad.
You dodge that bullet. You dodge that bullet.
Imagine that you are supposed to take a test today, but you didn't study for it at all. And you get to class and your teacher tells you the test has been postponed. So you could tell your friend, I really dodged a bullet there. I hadn't studied for that test at all. Which means that you just barely avoided a bad situation. You dodged a bullet. Now let's take a look at duck. This is when you physically move your head or body downwards to avoid something. The player ducked just in time. You will need to duck down when you enter the house, or you might hit your head on the door frame. Also, it's important to remember that if you need to tell someone to avoid something quickly, like a ball flying at them, we don't really say avoid, dodge. It sounds a little strange. Instead, we only really say duck or get out of the way.
Duck! Duck!
Next, let's take a look at steer clear of. This is when you deliberately avoid something or someone. We often use this when we give advice. You should steer clear of that part of town. It just isn't safe. Large companies tend to steer clear of controversial topics. Steer clear of him. I know him. He is bad news.
Steer clear of the cemetery. Steer clear of the cemetery.
Another similar expression is stay away from. This is when you avoid something or someone. We also often use this for giving advice or commands. You should stay away from heavy or greasy foods while you recover. My parents always told me to stay away from drugs and alcohol. We also often use this as a command, such as, stay away from me, or stay away from my boyfriend.
Stay away from me. Stay away from my clients. Stay away from me. Stay away from my clients.
Finally, let's look at avoid. This is when you keep away from something or someone, or you prevent something from happening. Are you avoiding me? In order to avoid future delays, we should process the documents right away. You should leave early to avoid rush hour. Although avoid is used often in many different situations, sometimes other expressions might be a more natural choice. Keep in mind that avoid sounds a little bit more formal compared to stay away from or steer clear of. So if I say, avoid that guy, that makes sense and is grammatically correct, but stay away from him sounds much more natural because this sounds like informal advice or a command. Or if you are talking about avoiding something in a more physical sense, then duck or dodge might be more appropriate. Like, the boxer avoided the opponent's punches. This sounds okay and grammatically correct, but dodge sounds much better and appropriate here. I hope you all have a better understanding about the word 회피하다 and the different expressions you can use. If you have any other questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down below. Please subscribe for new content, and as always, until next time, bye!